What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Let me start off by saying this, guys. I am a fan of both Stephen A. Smith and Jamie Foxx. Both have different sectors of entertainment. Jamie Foxx is one of the most talented actors, comedians of all time. Stephen A. Smith is a 5-star journalist and sports commentator. And, when it comes to sports, a lot of people look at Stephen A. Smith as a black sellout. He is a buffoon. He is, a raccoon, if you will, in those kind of words. And I can understand where you're coming from with that. Certainly, Stephen A. Smith says things about certain black athletes, about certain aspects of the black community that maybe he shouldn't say on television. However, I don't find them to be all the time false. I mean, usually when Stephen A. Smith is giving it to a lot of black athletes, very rarely can I say, he's absolutely wrong here. Like how he dealt with Kyrie. Some of you guys would think with the whole COVID mandate and stuff, I get it. But hey, listen, Kyrie got those guys to come play there. Harden, Durant, he didn't show up. They did. The team faltered. All right. Kyrie had a problem, kind of disrespected Steve Nash. And then to make it worse, they trade Harden for Ben Simmons. Now, Ben Simmons is a perpetual bum. I'm going to say that because the guy is very, very talented. He's 6'10". He can handle the ball. He can defend like crazy. The guy can't still shoot. Like, this is your job. Imagine being a full-time YouTuber and you can't produce videos. Like, imagine that. You get paid to do this, yet you still can't do it, but you have all the time in the world for these Instagram model girlfriends of yours. You're always saying you have psychological problems. You didn't want to play in Philadelphia. You come to New York. You didn't want to play. You're saying you're hurt. And all of that's bullshit because, in my opinion, you just don't want to play. You can't play and you don't want to play. So you become a liability to every team that you go to instead of somebody to help. Now, what I've just said is what a lot of people say. This ain't nothing to do with race. Both black people and white people. Anybody who can look at Ben Simmons that has two eyes understands that Ben Simmons is a goddamn underachiever. Okay? He is not a hard worker. He is not a person who puts us all into the sport. Is he talented? Yes. But has Ben Simmons taken the next level, his game to the next level? No. And when the Nets got pounced in the first round, and shout out to Kevin Durant, and I really like to see him. I like to see him when he's on the Golden State Warriors, but they got put out largely because of, Boston just kind of figuring them out. And then, Ben Simmons wasn't there to play. So Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion, called out the obvious. Okay. And he said that he is the weakest, most pathetic excuse for a professional athlete. They have two of those on that team, him and Kyrie Irving. Okay. And then what Jamie Foxx said was, Ben Simmons is a family, and he doesn't just play basketball, and it's unfair because you don't see Stephen A. Smith, dragging the white athletes of the world. You don't see him saying it to Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. It's out of bounds. But see, let me just say this. And as much as I love Jamie Foxx, what Stephen A. Smith have to say about Ben Simmons? What does it got to do with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers? Let me tell you who you're talking about. All right? White or not, if you were to pick two other white athletes, it's fine. Now, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, he's an asshole. But at 37, 38 years old, the guy plays at a high level. Super Bowl winning quarterback. Probably one of the best arm talents in the league. And every year he gets it done. All right? Now, he has some blunders in the playoffs, but at least he's won a championship. Tom Brady, what are we talking about here? One of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback of all time. A student of the game at 44 years old, still playing at a higher level at 44 than Ben Simmons has ever played, respectively, in his sport in his prime. So Stephen A. Smith is supposed to call out white athletes for doing the same thing, but I mean, you can get that, but what you're doing is you're excusing Ben Simmons for his buffoonery, and you're giving him an excuse to fail. And a lot of times as blacks, we want the excuse to be able to fail like other groups, but you don't get that kind of excuse when you're at the bottom. I'm sorry. And I know that Stephen A. Smith can be a sellout at times. I get what he's saying and all of that, but you're not addressing the fact that Ben Simmons is a loser. I'm sorry. It's the truth. He is an underachiever. And it's the same thing in the black community. In our community, we have low standards, right? Anytime somebody wants to hold our feet to the fire in our community, what do we have to start to do? We don't listen to what they're saying. Oh, you don't say that about the white man. You don't say it about the Mexican. You don't say it about the Asian. What does that got to do with the fact that we are underachieving? What does that got to do with the fact that Ben Simmons ain't playing? That Ben Simmons wouldn't play in Philadelphia. He's healthy, largely, I suspect, in Brooklyn. He's still not playing. What does that got to do with the guy? He's a loser. He is a cancer for a team. He is a bum. He is not a player you want on the squad because he's not dependable. Look at Kyrie Irving. I can say the same thing about him, except for Kyrie Irving is a much better player. Those guys let Kevin Durant down. All right? In the city of Brooklyn down. You guys got swept by a team that many felt that you should have beat. You didn't even win a game in the playoffs. Largely because Ben Simmons would have been good to have him playing. He couldn't play. Always making excuses about why he can't make a three-pointer. So you get Jamie Foxx and say, well, why don't you don't ever call the white man out. We're not talking about the white man. We're talking about why he can't play. And as long as we continue to have these people that always want to use race involved and what about this? What about that? The black American community, or black people in general, are always going to be at the bottom. Because what we should be talking about is why aren't these people producing at a high level? What's the excuse? How many excuses are we going to continue to have here? Well, we can't do this and the reason is why is this and that. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear why you can't do X, Y, and Z. Nobody wants to hear it. Just like when your rent is due at the end of the month or your cable bill is due, they don't want to hear, well, you know what, the reason why I can't pay the bill, well, why you don't ask the white man? If they start telling you, you don't pay your bill, you're lazy, you're a bad customer, well, why you don't tell the white man that? What does that got to do with anything? And Ben Simmons needs to be embarrassed. A lot of people need to be called out. These teams spend a lot of money on these professional players, and then they act like assholes. Yeah, I get it, but we got to stop giving people an excuses, the reasons to fail. No, you don't get a reason to fail. You need to be a productive athlete and stop hanging out with your Instagram girlfriend all the time, not playing basketball. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe with the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high. I'm out.